The preseason is now over. We just have the actual regular season of NFL football to look forward to, and it is a glorious day. And we are talking about 10 players that are on the rise, 10 players skyrocketing up my fantasy football rankings as we head into the home stretch. My home league draft is about a week away. I'm sure you guys have some drafts this weekend, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. All right, before we get into the video, of course, if you guys want access to the rankings I'll be making reference to in this video, go down to the pinned comment, hit the link there, promo code FSE at underdogfantasy.com. Sign up and first deposit with $10. You'll get the rankings for free, and also you'll get our weekly start-sit rankings throughout the season for free. And of course, if you already have an account, check out flockfantasy.com. Use promo code FSE over there for 30% off. So the first guy that we're going to break down here is Travis Etienne, a guy that's on the rise for me after his performance in preseason week 3. Running back 9 now in my rankings. So I got him ranked inside my top 10. He's currently going off the board as the RB11 in multi-site ADP. Many people are very concerned with Tank Bigsby. They spent a third-round pick on the guy, but what they don't realize is that Travis Etienne is posting elite usage throughout this entire preseason. And I'll tell you what, if Travis Etienne is going to be a 65% opportunity share running back in this offense, an offense that I think will be very up-tempo, very high-scoring, breakout candidate type of season for Trevor Lawrence this year, and Travis Etienne is going to post a 60% route participation, this guy has a legitimate top 3 running back ceiling, a legitimate top 5 ceiling. Do I expect those numbers to keep up totally for the entirety of the season? Not necessarily, but the fact that they are happening in preseason games right now makes me think that Travis Etienne has a much higher ceiling than people realize. He's moved up from a late third to an early third. So if you guys have a pick in the early third round, I think Travis Etienne makes a lot of sense. Dwayne McFarland, who I'm going to be referencing through this entire video, of course, he does great work there at Fantasy Life. He makes reference to Travis Etienne looking like a high-end RB1 profile in 5 drives with Trevor Lawrence this preseason. He's played almost 70% of the snaps, 65% of the carries, 63% route participation, getting most of the short down and distance and long down and distance, which is crucial. That means he's getting the receiving work and the goal line work. So Travis Etienne, a guy that is on the rise for me in my rankings. Number 2 on this list is Isiah Pacheco, running back 21 in my rankings, running back 26 in multi-site ADP. For me, it was all about health with Isiah Pacheco because he came into the season dealing with an injury. I really just wanted to see him on the field playing, and that's what we saw from him this past week in the preseason. I really expected Pacheco to get steamed up the board this year. I thought all the home league bros were going to take him in the 3rd, 4th round because he's a potential second-year breakout candidate running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I'm really impressed. A lot of people have, taken it cautiously with Isiah Pacheco. Not that I would actually take him that high. I just think that a lot of people don't realize sometimes the upside that Isiah Pacheco actually has. He's my RB21 in my rankings right now as a mid to late 6th rounder overall in my rankings, and in ECR and multi-site ADP, he's going off the board as like RB30. So you're talking about a guy that you can get in like the 7th round, 8th round sometime. He's the perfect RB2 for hero RB builds, especially knowing that you can kind of skip over the RB dead zone, hammer out the wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end position after grabbing one running back early, and then swing back around, grab Isiah Pacheco, and then be off and running at that position. So number 3 player skyrocketing up my rankings in today's video is Dameon Pierce, running back of the Houston Texans, running back 16 in my rankings right now, running back 19 overall in ADP. Young running backs, man. We got a theme with them. 3 straight running backs in a row in either their 2nd or their 3rd year. We want these guys in these seasons of their career, right? Their best production is usually from year 2 to year 4. Hence why none of these guys can actually get paid on the open market. And Dameon Pierce is showing exactly what that graphic I showed for Isiah Pacheco means. In year 2, a lot of these backs see increased roles. 67% route participation in the preseason for Dameon Pierce is absolutely nutty. And we're talking about a guy that played just 3% of his total snaps on 3rd or 4th down last year. So last year, Dameon Pierce and Lovie Smith's coaching staff, they were not using Dameon Pierce as a 3-down workhorse. This new coaching staff is using Dameon Pierce as a 3-down workhorse. In 7 drives with CJ Stroud this preseason, he's played 83% of the snaps, 83% of the carries, 67% route participation, which is elite RB1 caliber usage, all of the short yardage work, all of the goal line work, 83% of the overall passing downs. It seems that Devin Singletary is pretty much just a handcuff. He's not going to eat into Dameon Pierce's workload pretty much at all. So definitely great news for Dameon Pierce. one of the very few dead zone running backs that I'm actually willing to deviate into the dead zone for. If you guys are in the mid to late 5th round, early 6th round, that's about where I'd feel comfortable taking Dameon Pierce, but I probably wouldn't take him that much earlier. Number 4 on this list is Dalton Kincaid, rookie tight end for the Buffalo Bills. Tight end 11 in my rankings, tight end 11 in ADP, but I do think he's skyrocketing up my rankings in terms of how I feel about him, how I feel about taking him in the 8th to 10th round of a fantasy football draft this year. This may be the year of the rookie tight end, fellas. I know we're all used to, tight ends not producing until like year 3, year 4 of their career. We have 3 legitimate cracks at top 6 tight end production this year with Dalton Kincaid from the Bills, Sam Laporta from the Lions, Luke Musgrave from the Packers, and even Michael Mayer from the Raiders. These guys have all edged out the starters in front of them. They all are showing legitimate tight end 1 usage in terms of route participation, in terms of overall snap share, and Dalton Kincaid of that group represents the highest ceiling because he was the only first-round pick. He was the most talented prospect, and he's a member of the best offense, or one of the best offenses in the league, with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen had played just 1 drive with the starters in week 3 of the preseason. Dalton Kincaid was on a route on 71% of dropbacks despite the return of Dawson Knox in there. So we saw Dawson Knox. He's the veteran. We wouldn't have been surprised at all to see Dawson Knox run more routes and get more snaps than Dalton Kincaid. That is not what happened. Dalton Kincaid outsnapped him, ran more routes than him, and 70% might not sound like a lot, but in a pass-first offense like Buffalo, as Dwayne McFarland outlines here, that is definitely enough to get the job done as a tight end 1 as a rookie. So just because these tight ends don't typically produce early on in their careers does not mean that we should completely, push him off to the wayside and expect him to never produce, because it only takes one guy to buck that trend, and Dalton Kincaid could absolutely be that guy. For a while, there was no rookie wide receivers that were going to produce, and then Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, all these guys come along, and now we kind of expect rookie wide receivers to produce, and it wouldn't shock me if this tight end class kind of does something similar for that position. So, number 5 on this list is Elijah Moore, wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns, wide receiver 37 in my rankings, wide receiver 50 in ADP right now. He is talented as shit. We know this about Elijah Moore. He commanded 25% targets per route run back in 2021 as a rookie. The Browns are going to use this dude all over the place, and it's been very clear all preseason that he is closer to Amari Cooper, in my opinion, than he is closer to the wide receiver 3 on this team, or a guy that won't be very fantasy relevant. And right now he's currently priced as if he's just this sleeper wide receiver, but he legitimately has proven historical production so far in his short career. And Deshaun Watson has been an elite quarterback in the past. If he turns it on this year, he can support just more than Amari Cooper. He can support Elijah Moore having a top 25 season, a top 30 season, and he will crush this ADP if Deshaun Watson is the same type of quarterback that I think he can be. Elijah Moore has played 5 drives with Deshaun Watson this preseason, leaving the field a little bit in 2 wide receiver sets, but 75% route participation. He's led the team in targets per route run at 33% and in target share at 31%. Getting a lot of design touches, a lot of routes underneath, in addition to what we know he can do down the field. So Elijah Moore is somebody that needs to be on your radar, especially in deeper leagues. If you guys play in like a 3 wide receiver, 2 flex league, Elijah Moore is the perfect guy to grab in like round 9, round 10 as your second flex or as an upside swing for your bench. Number 6 on this list is Nico Collins, wide receiver 47 in my rankings, wide receiver 57 in ADP right now. If you guys are in deeper leagues with a lot of wide receiver spots, both of these guys should appeal to you. Elijah Moore and Nico Collins. Nico Collins is 6'4". He has alpha size, former second round pick. Targets per route run in year 2 last year was 24%. So we saw this guy, even despite being a raw prospect coming out of Michigan, really turn it on down the stretch last year. And CJ Stroud could make this offense at least marginally better, if not a lot better than it was last year. CJ Stroud has played 9 drives so far this preseason. A, he's gotten better every single one, and B, Nico Collins was clearly his wide receiver 1 on those 9 drives. 91% route participation, 30% target share, 34% air yard share, and Nico Collins legitimately has the possibility to become a top 36, top 30 wide receiver this year in fantasy, and he is available for basement prices. So especially for those of you guys in deeper leagues, I think Nico Collins is the perfect dart throw to go after in the double-digit rounds. Number 7 on this list is Damien Harris, running back 36 in my rankings, running back 44 in multi-site ADP. Similar to Isiah Pacheco, I'm honestly just glad that Damien Harris is healthy because he was dealing with some stuff throughout the most of training camp. I've been talking about how much I don't think James Cook's usage is something that we should ride home about because, James Cook is an undersized running back. He's been getting most of the usage in the preseason, but Damien Harris has been out for most of those games. James Cook has been steamed up all the way to a 6th, 7th round pick in drafts, and to me, I would rather just take Damien Harris at cost because why would I spend a 6th or a 7th round pick on James Cook when I think this backfield is going to be closer to a 50-50 than people think? And even if it isn't close to a 50-50, I think Damien Harris is a great, handcuff with some inherent rushing value. We saw him snipe a goal line touchdown in his first game back, and I will imagine that going forward, James Cook is not going to be a 70%, 80% snap share guy. I think these guys will be a little bit more 60-40. I prefer James Cook, but I think at cost, I like taking shots on Damien Harris at his current price tag. Number 8 on this list is a duo of Packers rookies, Luke Musgrave, who I have at tight end 15. UDFA right now in ADP, so a very, very deep sleeper. And then his teammate, Jaden Reed, wide receiver 66 in my rankings, also a UDFA in multi-site ADP right now. Both guys are great sleepers, and it's clear to me that they're both going to be starters for this team. Jordan Love, we don't know exactly what to expect for him, but maybe he's able to produce more than just Christian Watson here. Double-digit rounds, I love taking shots at both guys because both guys could easily become the number 2 target on this offense, and especially I love taking shots on Luke Musgrave because the upside for him is an every week starting tight end. From the very first preseason game all the way through this third preseason game, we've seen Luke Musgrave command 84% route participation over those first 3 preseason games, a 22% target share as well. It's a small sample size, as Dwayne McFarland points out here, but Musgrave is exactly the type of late round target that you want to take shots on. You don't want to draft, Cole Kmet's later on in your draft. You want to draft upside swings at the tight end position, guys that can actually become every week starting tight end ones because, you can find Cole Kmet types and, Jawan Johnson types and stuff on the waiver wire. For me, I would rather take shots on guys like Luke Musgrave, guys like Dalton Kincaid, guys like Sam Laporta later on in my draft. So number 9 on this list is another rookie wide receiver Josh Downs, wide receiver 63 right now in my rankings, wide receiver 88 overall in ADP. And Josh Downs is already the starting slot receiver for this team. As a rookie receiver, I'm expecting him to get better as the season goes along, probably not over-investing in Josh Downs outside of deep league formats, Dynasty, and Best Ball. But if you guys want to stash somebody for your bench and kind of just see what happens, maybe you cut bait with him after a couple weeks, I think Josh Downs is the perfect 15th, 16th round pick, especially if you guys are in deeper league formats. The Colts have played 9 drives with Anthony Richardson at quarterback this preseason. Of course, Michael Pittman is the target leader there, had a 29% target share, but Anthony Richardson has been struggling to hit, deep balls downfield with Pittman and with Alec Pierce. Josh Downs is the shorter to intermediate target. I think that Anthony Richardson's really going to gravitate towards him, especially early on in the season. I think he could be one of the biggest waiver adds early on in the regular season. He had a great college profile, great film, great contested catch receiver. Even though he's small, he was very productive at North Carolina. He actually led this class in overall target share, had a 37% target share as a true sophomore with Sam Howell. Number 10 on this list is Raheem Mostert, the final guy that is currently skyrocketing up my rankings. Now, obviously, there is some caveat here that if Jonathan Taylor gets traded to the Miami Dolphins, which apparently is a possibility, then Raheem Mostert, you guys can kind of just disregard this entire take. He would be just a handcuff at this point. But he's right now RB40 in my rankings, RB46 in ADP. Raheem Mostert has been operating as the starter throughout most of the preseason. I think given that Jeff Wilson and Devon Achane are both banged up with injuries right now, Raheem Mostert is the perfect guy to draft when you draft a risky guy like Breece Hall coming off of an injury, or draft in zero RB builds or hero RB builds where you just need a couple guys for early season production. I think Raheem Mostert might be one of the big waiver wire ads after week 1 of the fantasy season, because I think we're going to see him go out there, command a lot of carries, command a lot of targets, and potentially break off, long touchdowns as we know he can do. So Raheem Mostert, assuming Jonathan Taylor doesn't go to the Miami Dolphins, is a guy that I think should be on your late round sleepers radar. So that is the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed, hammer the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Appreciate you guys for getting us to 30,000 subscribers. Big shout out to you guys for doing that. And also, If you want access to our rankings, I made reference to them throughout this entire video. You can, of course, go down to the link in the pinned comment down below, try out Underdog Fantasy, try some of their Best Ball contests. Best Ball Mania 4 is closing very soon, $15 million in total prizes over there. And by depositing just $10 on Underdog Fantasy, you will get our redraft rankings manifesto, our draft guide for free, as well as our weekly rankings for free throughout the entirety of the season. So if you guys want to, know who to start and who to sit on a week-over-week basis and know who to draft going into your drafts this weekend, we will have you covered for just $10 at sign up and first deposit using promo code FSE. If you already have an Underdog account or if you can't play Underdog where you live, of course, you can also get our redraft guide and our weekly rankings on flockfantasy.com. Use the promo code FSE over there as well for 30% off, plus a free Zoom consultation if you sign up annually. But with that being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.